Hello. Ooh, Tosh. Oh wait. So now you have to request to join, Tasha. Hi. Hi, Pure Lux Salon. Hello, the unicorn nurse. Tosh, request to join, please, and thank you. Hi, Edith. How are you? Where's my Tosh? Oh, I thought she was here. Good. I'm glad you're doing well, Edith. It's great. It's always nice. Guys, my hair is wet, like literally wet. I need to do better. I was so exhausted today after working out. I had so much work to do, but whatever. I was just completely exhausted, so I had to rest. And that's what I do. When I need to rest, I rest. I'm not pushing it anymore. It's not happening. Oh. I'm trying to bring Tasha in. Tosh! In the building. Tosh! Hi, Tosh!
Hey, Stace!
How are ya?
Listen, Stacy, I am so excited to be here.
Me too.
The topic. It's incredible. It's incredible.
I mean, I don't know. We're all there, right? Doesn't it feel like it?
Listen,
Like,
I'm so excited just to see where tonight goes with the conversation. In my mind, I've already been answering the question, but I didn't want to talk to anybody. Like, people are like, I saw the post. Are you going live? What are you talking about? I wouldn't answer any questions. I was like, I don't want to answer any questions. I don't want to show any emotion until I get with Stacy. So it's just a privilege for me to be here.
Tosh,
And I'm so
you.
serious because I'm a hip hop head, and
It's more
so
than
hard.
that, Tasha. But it's more than that. Like, it's
I
not just
know.
right.
It really
like, I'm a
is
hip
more
hop head
than that.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to get started until you officially asked me the questions, et cetera, et cetera. So I really just shut everybody out. I didn't want to have any conversation till I talked to you.
Well, and I will say this, that so when I came up with the topic, I was like, okay, this is great. And then here comes Cam acting like a Looney Tune on CNN. And so I can't, so I have to be cautious with what I say about that, but like, yikes. But anywho, I don't want to jump ahead, right? Hey, everybody. Hey, Malika. Hey, Kia. How are you? Thanks for joining. Who else? Let me see. Okay. I like to start and people can just get in as they come in. They got to catch up. That's it.
I'm with it.
Right? So, look, Tasha, you're quite accomplished. And let's just keep it a buck, right? We're not going to Like, we're not going to mince, right? And we're not going to play around. We're not going to play this game that, you know, oh, well, yeah, no, 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 no. At a very young age, after college. Okay, so Tasha and I know each other from New York. We also know each other from Morris Brown. And so where I want to unpack is, after college, did you just get on the radio?
I wish it was that easy. I actually started in radio in high school. You know, White Plains High School had a radio
Yes,
station.
yes, yes.
And I want to shout out to my lunchroom crew. It was Deshia Davis, who is Rainey Davis's daughter, from, you know, the hit song that Mariah Carey remade, Sweetheart.
Yep.
Deshia Davis, Carmen. I hung out with Keisha Johnson. There were so many of us. And I was inspired by Wendy Williams and Angie Martinez. And as crazy as that sounds, I mean,
No.
we had been listening to them for years. And our high school radio station, it was really muffled. Like, you could barely hear. It was like, and it was over the lunchroom, you know, the speakers. But I wanted to be a part of that. And so every lunch period, I would just go into this little tiny closet. I swear, it's a little tiny closet. And I would just speak on this one microphone. I don't know if anybody could hear me or not, but and I think I really did come out muffled. I don't think anybody even knew it was me. But I just enjoyed it so much. And then when I came down to college to go to Morris Brown, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to get into radio or not. But I heard this girl, we were in like career day or whatever, where you had to decide your major. And I heard some random girl say, I want to go. She was prim proper. She had on a suit. She was like, I want to go into communications and I'm going to be on TV. And I was like, I want to do that. But little did I know I was really going to fall back into radio. By way of an invitation from my cousin Chaka, who had a show. And then from there, it just went bananas. So I guess I was always destined since high school.
Well, I mean, you really have had an amazing career. It's not something, especially the time frame in which you came in. I'm talking about the mainstream, right? When you came in, right? You came at a really pivotal and profound time in hip hop and R&B, new school R&B, right? Our generation's R&B, and you're responsible for bringing a lot of music to the forefront. Frankly, in the Atlanta market. I mean, that's huge. You've been honored all over the place. You've been in every major publication in the country. It's not like these things haven't happened. So I want to make sure that everybody's on, and that when the replay happens, they understand who we're talking to here. We're talking to radio royalty.
Well,
right?
First of all, I just want to say thank you for that, because really, when you're in it, you really don't see your accomplishments. Or let me say this, I've not seen my accomplishments. I don't think that I realized exactly to what extent it was that I really crossed barriers in until I left. And people were asking me to come back, and I was fighting it like, no, hell no, like, I'm done. Like, but then when I started to create like a bio, because I had a son, I got married, had a kid, and I wanted to kind of document my legacy for him, that I started to say, oh my God, the New York Times, the LA Times, like, oh my God, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, oh my God, I won this award. I didn't even think about that award. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was, on MTV. I can't believe I was on CNN. Like, you don't really start to acknowledge your accomplishments really until you take a step back. Or for me, because it really was not about the accolades. I wasn't seeking that. For me, it was like, I'm going to work. I want to get in radio. I want to break records. I want to find the next artist. So once I took a step back, it was like really mind blowing. And that's pretty much it. So I just want to say thank you, because
I think people forget.
Yeah, I forgot. I really forgot. And then when I'm hearing other people, and I mean other people that really acknowledge me, like I get phone calls from Magic, who says, you know what, Tasha, I don't think you realize that you brought hip hop to Atlanta, to this particular station. to the Heritage Station. There was not hip hop playing before then. I don't really think I didn't even really think about that. For me, it was just like second nature. But I really do have some solid people behind me that acknowledge my accomplishments. I have others that ignore it. It might be a little too loud for them, but that's okay because it still happened, right?
Right.
But
Right. You can't take it off the
nevertheless,
books. You can't
right, you
take it off
can't
the
take it
books.
off the books. It's there.
Right.
And so for that, I just want to, I really want to say thank you to the allegiance of people that are behind me that really, really remind me, such as yourself, and all of the women that come up. There are so many women in the hip hop industry, period, music industry, period, that I want to acknowledge and just say thank you to.
Well, again, you can't take it off the books. You can't take your accomplishments off the books. And I feel like we're very quick to acknowledge men, right? We're very quick. Like listen, they could disappear and nobody forgets.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody forgets them. Right?
Yeah.
But here you are, you spent a very big part of your life, right? And let's be clear, everybody, Tasha's in the age group. She's with us here. Right? Yeah. Like, okay. Like we're not talking about 50, like, 2 years or something. Right. You brought something to Atlanta that Atlanta didn't have.
Right.
Okay. So we just need to be clear as the first assistant program director on V-103. Right. Let's just do that.
I appreciate the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It matters, right? But here we are in 2024.
Right.
And, I see you are, because it's not like you went anywhere, but it's almost like a re-entry, right? Like almost like people are like, oh, that's Tosha Love. Like people are like it is bringing them back. Right. And you have this skill set.
You know what? A lot of people don't know this about me. My really, really close friends know this about me. As crazy as this is going to sound, I know that I have been on stage in front of hundreds and thousands of people, but I really do I have somewhat a bit of stage fright.
Me too.
And it happens to me every time I get ready to go on air. But I decided once I left radio, I just wanted to take a step back. I really wanted to gain my anonymity again, especially in Atlanta, because I remember going places with my family and people would be like, oh my God, that's Tosha Love. Oh my God, give her my CD. Like, she's going to make us famous. She's going to break this record. And once I got married and took a step back and wanted to I just wanted to really melt into nobody knowing who I am. My son's teachers don't know who I am. I have people that that will say to me, you look familiar, but they recognize my voice before they recognize my face, because we were always behind a mic. When I was on air, we didn't have social media, right? And we had just started streaming live. But I would always cover the mic because I was afraid if I was going to Kroger, somebody would recognize me, and I didn't want that. Like I'm real low key. Like I don't introduce myself coming forward as Tosha Love. I have really, really close friends of my son's school friends that don't know who I am. They don't know what I do. And I prefer it that way because I like to see how genuine people are to me. Because once they find out who I am, what I do, it changes, right?
Of course.
And now I don't trust you.
And now and now
I'm real.
And there's that.
Yeah, and there's that. And I'm real protective of my space. People may call me shady, but I'm real low key. I want to know who I'm dealing with before they recognize who they're dealing with, just so I can move into the relationship with pure honesty.
And that's a verse.
Yeah, word.
That's a verse, right? Like, I mean, again, because especially at this age, who wants to be identified as based on what they do? That's insane. It's just insane, right? And you can't forge relationships based on that. That doesn't work, right? And we all know that doesn't work. So it's good to hear you say that. I clearly I know that's not the way you move. So again, that's powerful. So as I said, when we came up with this topic, like it's hip hop menopausal. And the reason why I'm thinking that, because there's so many things happening. And I'm like, we're all in the same age group. And interestingly enough, the old school female MCs don't seem to be having these type of issues.
Not at all.
Okay. So what I should have said was, is hip hop, what is it? It's called andropause for men.
Oh.
Right. It's called andropause.
Okay.
And so it's based on their loss of testosterone, etc. Because it really feels like they're having a moment.
They are.
Right. And it's cumulative because we've all been there in the 90s.
Listen,
if we could, everybody could write a book, right? If you went to anything, we can start with Freaknik, we can go Greek Fest, we can do the Tunnel, wow. We can do Soulflower in New York, we could do a million places for the things that we've all seen. Now different position, yeah, and we don't have to get too, whatever, but the things that I'm sure that you saw, right? Yeah. Different. Very different. Very different. And women didn't have a voice then.
Listen, we had a voice, which is so crazy because I thought about this earlier today. And again, I live in my mind, right? Like first of all, in order to even, when I get started with my day and I'm up around 4:30 a.m., I pray. And then depending upon what it is that I have to accomplish, I immediately go to music. But my playlists are sectioned out. So it's like, am I getting grimy today? Am I going straight to Mobb Deep? Am I going to start with a little house? Am I going to start with a little, soca? What am I starting the day with? Am I starting out with smooth jazz? What am I starting out with? But women have always had a voice. Unfortunately, even in my days of radio, it's just that when our voice is a little bit too loud, and our bosses are men, what they have a tendency to do is shut it down. And it is, I like that idea, or yeah, I like that idea. So I'm going to take it as my own, or, you know what, I'm going to take, I never forget this. Of course, my job as music director was to select all the music that goes on air, but I literally had my very last boss literally shut me out of a meeting as a music director who is responsible for selecting music, and he took a very popular DJ to the meeting as opposed to me. Wow. And when it comes to meeting with artists, every artist in Atlanta knows who I am. They know, and outside of Atlanta, I have tons of friends. The music industry, period, as a whole, would call me, from me, Irv Gotti, JD, whoever. If they had a record coming out, they knew to call me. But this one particular boss that I had, really was just so annoyed that everybody could call me and really get a meeting, right? He ended up taking someone else to the meeting. So I walked in on the meeting. Huge Atlanta artist. I walked right into the meeting, was like, hey, what's up? What y'all talking about? And that pissed him off, of course. But nevertheless, he was coming from an outside market trying to dictate what was happening in the Atlanta scene. I basically was raised in Atlanta after coming from New York to come down here to go to college. So I pretty much knew everybody, knew everything. And I was all about Atlanta artists. If you listen to music now in Atlanta, you don't hear Atlanta artists. You might hear like one an hour, and that's not of the same genre. You might, I don't even know when the last time I heard a Monica record was.
Right.
Usher,
right. And she has a new project out.
Right. Usher, I did hear this afternoon. But I mean, this is A-Town. For this to be A-Town, and I'm not hearing A-Town artists, it irritates me to no end. Unlike if we were home in New York, you already know Angie Martinez, Wendy Williams, Flex, anybody else, everybody's playing, right? Everybody's playing Atlanta music, New York music. But when you get down here, it's like, oh, where are we? So that pretty much annoys me on a 100% factual. That's why I really have little tolerance for listening to Atlanta radio when I get in the car. I just don't.
So that speaks to the voice, right? So, and thank you for really correcting me on that, because it's not about we didn't have a voice or don't have a voice. It's that it's not being listened to. Facts. Right? It's not heard. So Facts. Thank you. That distinction is important.
It is.
right? I think, thank you for that. So, I, and I find that interesting because I listen to satellite, right? I don't really listen to
Terrestrial
local.
radio, which
Yeah,
is in your car, home.
yeah, right, correct. I just don't, or like you said, the playlist, and my playlist is, separated out based on the mood that I'm in,
Right.
right? But I'm always in a New York mood, like always, right? Like, I
I'm
mean,
not
and
mad at
again,
that, and I understand it 100%.
I'm always in a New York mood. And
Yeah.
like if I pulled my playlist now, it would be like Jay, Biggie,
Yeah.
Nas,
Yeah.
Mobb Deep, like Black Rob, the whole Bad Boy family.
Word.
The whole, I mean, literally, and how can we not? Like, I mean, we're from Westchester. How can we not? These are
Hello?
our people.
Yeah. These are
Have
our people. Yeah.
Pete, like these are our people, right?
Yeah.
But so what was that like for you? I mean, you're an apple in the peach state, right? I mean, so here you are, you're on the radio. I mean, but you're a New Yorker. You are at your core,
Yeah.
right? But good music. Good music is good
Yeah.
music, right? But
Yeah.
how are you able to, I don't know,
Finagle the music from New York on Atlanta
navigate that?
radio?
Yes, yes,
Because
yes.
that's really what it was. I really finagled the music. First of all, I didn't just finagle hip hop music. I mean, New York music. I finagled hip hop music because when I got to V-103, they were not playing hip hop music. Like it might have been one Ja Rule Ashanti record, and I don't even know that was even out yet, because I got there in '99. So it really was like, Doodoo Brown, or which is Frank Ski, but it was
Yeah.
really like safe. I want to say safe hip hop, right? It wasn't grimy to the point where they didn't even play Waterfalls with Left Eye. It was the heritage station. There was no hip hop. After I got done, there was Kanye, there was Jay-Z,
Right.
there was DMX, there was like, everybody there. But for me, it wasn't just that I was, I had to break New York hip hop. I had to break hip hop, period. And so one way that I did that was I was on air, and shout out to everybody that even remembers that. I was on air from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. every Friday and Saturday. So,
Which is a coveted time to be on the radio.
yeah, I mean,
it's a coveted
it's
time
a
to be on the
perfect
radio.
time. And not only that, but I was dealing with all the DJs. So all the DJs, I would request certain music. And so I'd be like, yo, can I get some New York hip hop? Like, can you throw me on, a music bed? I need, real hard, nasty beats. Like I'm grimy with my hip hop. Like I really love, I really love the street, like
me too.
hip hop. Like I'm gutter with my hip hop. Deep bass lines. So I was able to get it on and finagle it that way. Now imagine this is before 50 Cent in the club, right? So this is how far back we going. So I'm on air, but I was able to get that played, and then I knew that this was going to be a hot video. Like he came out, he hanging from the ceiling, he ain't got no shirt on. Like, I program radio for the ladies, right? Because I already know what the women want. Women want visual, and they want lyrics spoken to them. And 50 was so fly when he first came out. Aside from all the money, but he was so gutter grimy with even just how to rob that I knew it would be appealing. So I kind of went that way. And being that I was the music director with a shift on the weekend, I could kind of control, the playlist because I knew what people were calling me for. So even in come afternoon, after 2 o'clock, it was fair game. I was playing what I wanted to play.
And interesting about 50 is that when he came out, I mean, he was straight like Rikers Island doing push-ups on the street lights type thing. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fit. Like, I mean, New Yorkers, he definitely was not an outside of New York artist at first, right? Because when you saw him coming, you're talking about a very different dude, which we're used to seeing, right? But for the world to see that, the song was just so hot. It was fire, and he was muscular, and I wouldn't necessarily say he was good looking, but the street thought he was good looking.
Well, when you put the package all together, like you can't just focus here, but you got to focus on, you know,
everything else. Right. All right.
his
All right. Fair enough.
his six pack was banging.
And it was
Like,
8. It was actually 8. All right.
oh well, you're right.
It
Might
was
be
8.
10. You're right. You're right.
And we were paying attention. But so interestingly enough, I'm going to tie this together. You want to talk about menopausal?
Yeah, word.
I mean, 50, like, and we'll say andropause, 50.
He's going through it right now.
Like, I am very, I think that it's amazing to watch him navigate Hollywood, you know, movies and TV and all of that.
Yeah.
But his behavior is just something different, right? How he treats women, like how he speaks to women, and
Yeah.
and like that whole thing with Notori, like all of that was too much, right? And I feel like I'm like, these are like our women, like this is us. Like, what? Why are we acting crazy toward, like, this is outside of the music, right? This I'm talking about, like this menopausal thing, dude. Do we need HRT? Do you need something? You need some tea. You need some testosterone. Like, come on, and you need to simmer down. Don't you think? Like a little bit.
I do. Well, you know, I want to say this. When I first met 50, he came up to my office. I don't have the picture here, otherwise I would show you. But he came into my office, and very, very quietly, he was, you know, his presence really spoke for himself, but he was super down to earth. But at the same time, he was like, you know, I got a mission. I'm out here. I'm trying to work my record, etc. Now he's a business mogul. And so he has the freedom to say how he feels within limitations as far as the kickback is concerned from us, right? But he is in menopause, and I'm gonna say anopause, and I say that because he's very emotional. What's happening with Diddy's girlfriend, who is also his baby mom? I'm not sure. I want to call her name is Daphne. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But he's emotional about that. That hurt his feelings. It did. And so he's lashing out. He lashing out. He like, how dare you leave me for Puff? Like, because he sees Puff as the weaker adversary, right? Like, he's like, you know, we're arch enemies. We in hip hop. I'm harder than that. But he's taking it personal. And she left. First of all, she was dating Diddy before she even got with him. So he took her from Diddy. Okay, whatever the case may be. Then she went back. She she followed back up like Ashanti, right? She circled the block, as the kids would say. And so his ego is hurt on that. And so although I'm perimenopausal and not yet even begin to understand what that scope is like for the full spectrum, he's emotional. He's emotional. He needs a hug. He needs a nice warm bowl of soup. He needs a heating blanket. He needs to sit and hold his emotions.
Everything.
He needs all the feels. But he's going through some things. He's lashing out at females, and that the comments that he made to Notori was wrong. The way he's going after the court settlement from the other chick, I can't remember her name. But it's just it's something there. Like, he's not, I don't feel like he's happy. Because despite everything that he has, he's circling back on these really minute issues. When something's above you and you at peace with everything, the last thing you're thinking about is what this person over here is doing. So
look, wait, Nick said he's a Cancer and they're sensitive.
Very.
Nicole said, wait, look, okay, and that's a fact, right?
He is.
And I think you're right, Nick. He hasn't honestly ever been loved. I think maybe that's the challenge with, honestly, a lot of these men that we're seeing in these situations.
Yeah.
When we dig deeper, right? And this is not gossip. This is like, look, this is serious. Like,
it's not.
It's a crisis as far as I'm concerned. These are people that are revered, for lack of better words, in society, right? They've achieved a certain level of success and the rest of it. And literally, it's like they are disintegrating. Well, like they're losing all of their marbles.
We also have to acknowledge that they really came up alone. A lot of these artists especially of our genre, grew up in the hood, projects, single parent household, sometimes no parent at all. They've been on their own since the age of 12. They've been hustling in the streets since the age of 10.
Correct.
They
Correct.
have there's no safe haven for them. They didn't get hugs. They didn't get books before bed. They were not fed, 3 solid meals a day. They didn't go to school to learn. They went to school to get off the streets. So there's a difference there, right? So when we're listening to their records, it's hard. Even, one of my favorite artists, and it hurts me to my core that he's not here anymore, is DMX. I listen to DMX almost every single day.
How can you not?
Slippin' is one of my favorite records, and it really, when I hear it, it almost makes me want to cry, because he's telling you, yo, I've been on my own. My best friend was my dog. Like, my mother kicked me out.
Right.
He's going through this whole struggle.
It's a pathology. It's his whole pathology.
He took it through his entire life, and it's so sad. Seriously, hip hop moves me in a way that can take me from one end of the spectrum all the way to the next. I can be sad, I can be happy, I can be upset, I could be angry, but it also calms me down depending upon the tempo. It can call me closer to God. It really is a full circle moment when I listen to hip hop. It's not always guns and violence. It really is about God and faith and trusting and enlightening and education. There's so many elements to it, and
it taps your soul. It taps your, literally.
It does.
And I know, especially for you, because you were literally you were literally seeing these artists on a daily basis, right? As they're coming up.
Yeah.
Right. So before because in this era, they weren't mega rich, wealthy. That didn't exist yet.
No.
Keep it a buck. That did not exist yet, right?
Not at all.
So even JD and them, they had money, but I'm talking about, what we're talking about now is we're talking about people who have 200, 300, 400 million dollars.
Billions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that you were seeing them at a very vulnerable moment, because they're coming to you and almost, I'm not going to say beg, right? But to get on the radio for you, you're the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
For you to give them access to the world. Right?
Yeah. I've seen some things.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying, right?
I've seen some things. I've seen some really humble, I've had some very humble conversations and some not so humble. My conversation with Kanye, I like to say, was pretty much me going to war. I had to tell Kanye a couple of things. But I've had to tell other artists, I like your stuff. I've told several artists, I don't like your stuff. I don't think that's a hit record. I'm not playing that record. I think we need to go back and revisit it, because women have a tendency, and this is what I was saying as it relates to females and music. Women have a tendency to listen to the lyrics, and we listen to the emotion behind the lyrics. That's why we like Tank. That's why we like, I broke Maybe I Deserve. I broke Maybe I Deserve because you damn right you deserve it. You cheated on me. You've been seeing her the entire time. Every woman could really relate to that, especially in Atlanta. The men to women ratio is ridiculous out here. We're not even going to talk about New York and elsewhere. But what I'm saying is that for so many years, men have been able to get away with doing dirt, and then you finally have this one dude that's like, yo, you right. I deserve for you to put on that dress. I deserve for you to get in a car. I deserve for you to get your back broke.
Right.
And I gotta eat that. I gotta eat that. There's another dude that's really digging on you, and I'm about to lose you. And that's what women could really connect to, as opposed to men. Men hear the beat first, whereas women hear the lyrics and the emotion behind the record. And so once I left radio, you know, it all went to shit. You know, nobody pays any
Literally.
attention. Literally, literally, nobody pays attention to the emotion behind music and what women want to hear. And women are the top demographic of terrestrial radio because we're the consumer. We're the ones that go out and buy the record, as is evident with, you know, Cardi B, WAP, Megan, etc., Nicki, all of that. Yeah.
Well, and you know, that's really interesting because honestly, in every sector of life, women are ignored. I mean, again, and I very seriously wanted to tie menopause into this. People don't understand they've done no research on how menopause impacts women until right now.
Right.
Do you understand? They didn't even use women to test maxi pads. Like, I'm just saying, like, these are things that only impact us. So
and you know what's so crazy about that though is that they didn't use women to test these products, yet men need them the most. Like
how? That's a verse, and that's a verse too.
I mean, it really is what it is. Like, you know, I was telling a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago that men are really emotional, and they talk about us being emotional creatures, but you know, men are really sensitive, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
You know, I allow my son cry it out. Like, don't hold that.
No.
If you need to go ahead and take a break, go upstairs. You know, I'll be up there in a minute to, you know, to coddle you, to let you know that I'm here. But I need you to go ahead and express your emotion. And for the longest time, as is evident in hip hop, because we're listening to broken men rap about how their mothers weren't there, how their fathers were in jail, how they grew up hungry, how they, you know, stole from the store to get dinner. We are listening to, seriously, our favorite hip hop artists talk about how they grew up without any emotional support at all. And thus, therefore, we have all these broken men, you know, that are now really expressing their emotions. Like, it's like when they get older, it's like, yo, I did her dirty, you know, meet me at the altar.
Right.
now that I've done you dirty, meet me at the altar. Let's get married so that way you can take care of me now that I'm older and I can't really run the streets or, you know, whatever.
Well, that, and you know what? And that is a whole nother conversation.
But it's true.
Which I'm so anxious to have, right?
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, like, these last couple of weeks have been really, like, honestly stressful because I'm like, how many more are going to go down? Because it's going to happen. Oh, it's happening. Okay?
Yeah.
Because, again, this industry doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? They all hang out together. I mean, it's a community, right? And first of all, like people hang around like people. Like, again, so we can start with the resources, right? Billionaires hang out together. Why would you hang out with somebody who has less than you? Because it's not going to be fun because you don't have the money to move, right? So, I mean, this doesn't make sense, right? So, like, what? I mean, again, I think Shanna said earlier on. She mentioned Jones Beach. I mean, there were a lot of things.
Boy, we had time at Jones Beach, though.
Oh, did we not? I mean, and here's the thing. The reason why we had a good time is why? Because we didn't have these stupid phones connected to our body and worrying about what you're photographing and who sees you and then tweeting about it or getting on Instagram Live about it in the moment. You could enjoy the music. You could enjoy the people.
Yeah.
But also, there were a lot of other things happening, right? And I feel like, per your point, so you have these young men now who were raised by these men who were in our generation.
Yeah.
Right? But you look at what I noticed also on the flip side, these same men birth daughters and their daughters are graduating from college. I'm looking at this. I'm like, what's happening? Luda's daughter just graduated from Spelman. Brava.
Right.
I mean, it's one after the other. Eminem's daughter just got married.
Right.
Like, I'm like, Busta Rhymes' son graduated, I think, from Clark. Like, like all these things.
Big
and I'm
Boy's
like,
son just graduated.
Right. Like, I'm like, okay, but the generation before that, we got a problem. And then you have these kids now who I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? Right? Like, you already are in this menopausal phase. Like, you're already there, right? Like, you're scared. It's scary to me to even look at what some of these kids are doing, how they're behaving. I just, I think that's why, like, the Drake and Kendrick thing, I was like, what's actually happening here? I didn't even understand, like, the whole thing. I was like,
Well,
so,
one, that's because we you know, if we're gonna keep it real here, we added the demographic, you
right,
know.
that's true.
Uh,
There's
we're
that.
out of the demographic. It
No,
is what it is.
right.
Both Drake and Kendrick are younger than us, but not only that, their audience is younger than us. So, you know, my son is not in the audience. He's far too young. But for me, it started out was cute. It was fun. It was hip hop. Because really, I have a tendency to span all age demographics because I just want to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Everything doesn't make the cut just because I'm like, oh, really? That's hip hop now. But I had a long conversation with myself in the car, where I listen to I listen to my music when I'm by myself. I got a sick system. It just is. It is what it is. I got a sick system, and I like to listen to my on 10 to where my phone is like, yo, your music is too loud.
Me too.
Yeah. So I listen like that. When I get into the neighborhood, of course, I turn it
Yeah,
down
tone it
because
down.
I'm
Right,
a suburban mom, right?
right.
But I do a lot of my music listening in the car, and quite honestly, I'm a head nodder. So if it don't make me nod, you know, when I'm listening, I'm not there. The thing about this Drake and Kendrick Lamar is that it shifted. It shifted and it became toxic. I feel like J. Cole said, hold up, this isn't worth my mental health. I'm going to fall back. And I admire that about
Yes.
J. Cole. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what anybody says. When J. Cole took that step back, to me, it was him saying, you know what? I don't belong here. I'm going to get my shit and go.
And go and
I'm just gonna
buy.
get my stuff and I'm a bounce. Because it really wasn't about him. He really got caught up in some stuff. You know, you roll with your homeboy. You next thing you know, you in the middle of a shootout. You weren't even supposed to be there. So it's kind of like that. And then from there, it just exploded and it just got nasty. It became toxic. And I think the older generation was like, oh my gosh, why are y'all even doing this? Whereas the younger generation is like, yo, this is hip hop, this is what we do. But what we have to realize is that our demographic, yours and mine,
Mm-hmm.
the people that I imagine are on this call, this is our genre right now. We saw hip hop come up 50 years. Hip hop is 50 years old.
That's right.
I'm 52,
Right.
right? So
My.
shout out to all my 70s babies. Sidebar, I went to a party last weekend and I really was just going to like people watch and get some, you know, see what's on the scene. And they was like, yo, where the 80s babies at? Where the 90s babies at? And I'm like, hold up. He didn't even mention my he didn't even mention my age group. So I was a little bit offended by
It
that.
feels
But so anyway, I
weird.
digress.
But it feels weird though, right? Because in our head, like, honestly, we're sitting here. I'm looking at you, and I'm like, damn, Tosh hasn't really aged. And even though I saw you, I've seen you, but I'm like, damn,
Yo,
right? So when we look at ourselves,
right.
right, it's a little different because we're in the car, we're at 10, we're listening
Yeah.
to the music, we're getting into
Yeah.
it. We're like, okay, we're doing pretty good. We look kind of good. And then you're like, nobody includes us anymore because here's what I saw a post that said, if you are born in the 70s, you are no longer cool.
Yo.
Full stop.
Oh
We're
my
really
God.
not.
I just said that to my girlfriend who went with me to the party. I was like, yo, we not cool anymore. But at the same time, I got into like this kerfuffle with this young kid who was like blocking my space. And I'm like, look, you in my area. I need 50 feet. Give me 50 feet. You blocking my view. And he couldn't understand why I was protective of my space, and had the nerve to be like, yo, you're aggressive. And so then now we got to have the whole aggressive conversation.
Because you don't
Now
tell me
I
that.
have to
That's
school
right.
you. Now I have to take an hour out of showtime to explain to you why calling a Black woman aggressive is a problem.
It's a problem.
And by the end of the conversation, I really thought he was gonna cry, because he did apologize. He was like, "You're right. I'm sorry," but I had to explain to him. Now, if I was a guy and I said, "Yo, you in my way," you would have just moved. But because I'm a female and I'm saying, "Yo, I can't see. You see me standing here. It's a problem." You're gonna say, "Well, that was aggressive." So now I got to unleash the beast. Now I got to take my damn earrings out. Let me go in my bag, grab my Vaseline right quick, and let me explain to you why this is a problem. So, but at the end of the night, he did apologize. But the fact that I even had to do that was ridiculous. But it did explain how, as an older female, I approached the situation. But it is unfortunate that we are, we're looking at hip hop going a different direction, whereas we came up with Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, summertime, we outside having a party, we listening to, Mos Def, and he's saying Umi says, where we're respecting our elders, we're listening to what our grandparents are saying, or we got a Sade sample under Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt good. It felt so good. But now it's so like, oh gosh, okay, I gotta put my hands on my knees, I gotta grab my ankles, I gotta bend at this ankle, and I gotta shake. Like, it's just so much.
So much. Wait, Tosh. Okay, so FY everybody, my mother's on, right?
Hi, Mom.
And she said, where are the 50 babies at?
You know what? My mom might be on here too.
She said, where the 50s babies at? Okay, right here, you're here, so that's important. Maybe Tasha's mom is on too.
Right.
So I just I was thinking to myself, so I wrote some things down because that really stuck out in my head, and I wanted to know what you thought, right? So I used to really, because I used to be in the car early, so I would listen to Sway in the morning, because I love Heather B.
Yes.
All right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Because she keeps it a
She
buck.
does.
She's Jersey all the way.
She does.
I don't care. She's Jersey all the way.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
And I just like how she moves. I like her energy.
Yeah.
I love her spirituality. I just love, and I love. Yes, and I like how she's evolved. Like, she's, she's in culinary, all this other business. Yeah. But what strikes me as strange, right? When we were coming up, freestyle was off the top of the head, full stop.
Off the dome.
Right?
Off
so
the dome.
All these things, if you see something in the room that you're in, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're not coming with prepared notes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, they have their little 5 whatever.
5 bars.
Yes,
bars.
There you go. Thank you. See, here we go with this age thing, right? I can remember, right? And I was like, why are they allowing these people? You could tell that these are not freestyles.
They're regurgitating hip hop that they've already written, right?
Correct. I don't see how you give an MC credit for that, okay? When that is not freestyling. So is this? And I'm like, you got my girl Heather on here, you got Sway on here, who is
respect the process. That's what you say. Respect the process.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
You know what? I said this on a panel that I was on with Q Points podcast recently. When they asked what's missing from hip hop, my response was talent. And my response was talent, not that there's no talent in the world. My response was there's no talent that's getting put on. Okay. Biggie, Little Kim, Wu-Tang, all found on the street corner, right? Because that's where we did hip hop, or that's where they did hip hop. I'm from Westchester, so for me it was Heavy D. So many. So many others. Right. But they don't have. I was thinking Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Right. They don't. That's not required anymore. It really is, as I said, when I was on a podcast, the hip hop pound puppies from
Oh my God.
Brown Sugar,
Oh
right?
my.
It's a formula now that record labels are looking for, where they need you to fit into this mold. They need you to get right here into this, into this mold, and we need to be able to form you and make it work, so that way we could sell more records. It is not the most deaf, where the talent speaks for itself, or I can go in and I can create a hit, or just a really talented artist is, she can't sing. Okay, I can put a little auto tune on this. I can go and get a hip hop artist over here. So it's like almost like, Tom Cruise when he's in the, during the movies where he's like, Jason, whatever that movie is that he's in, but he's moving the screen around because he's building everything.
Oh,
So that's really what I like.
Minority Report. Minority Report.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So that's exactly it. So we take a piece of the artist from here. She can't sing, but we're going to put some auto tune on it. Okay, now we're going to switch this around. Let's go over here and get these techniques, and we're going to add that over here. Okay, we're going to have all these bars over here. And then what we're going to do is, let's go get a verse from this artist over here, and then we're going to piece it together. We're going to put a sample on it, a hot sample. And what we're going to do is we're going to regurgitate that to the people. And then we're going to finish it off with a pretty package, aka the video, and we're gonna push that. Okay, so that's really what's happening. That's why you don't need to be able to freestyle now, because it's not about that anymore. Even American Idol tries to do it, where it's like, okay, let's go find the artist that can sing the best. Right, they're not looking at that. Look at what happened to Ruben Studdard. Ruben Studdard is incredible. But he won. Right. But look at his sales compared to Kelly Clarkson or anybody else that won. It really is, what can we create that will not only sell records but get us all the money back that we're going to put into you. They don't care about freestyle. They don't. They need a cool 8-16 bars that can fly over a record. And now it's not even a solid grimy beat. I'm gonna say grimy because I think of grinding, right? Grinding.
One of my favorite songs.
One of my favorite records.
One of my favid songs.
Yeah, one of my favorite records. I used to use it as a music bed all the time. But what I'm saying is, there's really no substance. All of that is missing from these platinum albums that I have here with 50 Cent, Common, Tupac, Snoop, Lloyd Banks, Common, like all that is missing. Like they don't, it's not necessary anymore. All I need to know is how much ass you willing to show.
And that's why I think,
and how many baby mothers do you have? And are you going to argue on Instagram? That's what they care about. They don't care about that.
And people have comments, right? Like Carrie said, Ed Lover used to have them freestyle off of anything in the newspaper back in New York on Hot 97. Exactly. And I think this is where I'm saying menopausal, right? Like something has occurred, right? And hip hop has, anybody who's experienced menopause knows that it's not easy, right? It's not an easy time when those symptoms start coming at you. And most of the time you don't know how to deal with it because most of the doctors don't even know how to deal with it, right? Mm-hmm. So here we are, 50 years of hip hop, right? And I don't think anybody understands, even the old heads, how to even deal with it now, because it's not a culture anymore, right?
No.
It's not a culture, right? It used, right, Tosh? It used to be a culture, right? I wrote this note down because there was a way we dressed. We had, like, I remember, I'm gonna call Shannon out here because again, we went to high school together, right? Everybody had the big donkey earrings. Nick used
the bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair,
right? That part, right? It's that it was a style, it was a look. You wanted people to know that you were into it. What does that exist today?
Yeah, it exists. It still exists, but unfortunately, we are dealing with cultural appropriation where every culture has just swagger jacket. I mean, I still rock my nameplate.
I see. I still Tasha with her nameplate, and that's the original one, isn't it? Is it the original one?
Every single day on a Cuban, like I don't. It's just It's just a part of me. When I'm not here, my son will get it. I have a name ring. I have name earrings. I've got, depending upon where I'm going and what I'm doing, I dress for that particular mood, you know. Yesterday was Biggie's birthday. Shout out to Biggie. I wore my shirt all day yesterday. I made my son wear his Biggie shirt to school. Like for us, it is, you know, it is a culture, it's a lifestyle, right? But now when you click on Instagram, you see, or Instagram or TikTok, you see over in Japan, heaven forbid, there's a movie out like The Little Mermaid with a black superstar, but they are dreading their hair. They're wearing baggy clothes. They're wearing gold chains. They're doing everything that they can to mimic the culture, but they don't like us.
They don't like us.
They don't like us. And then they use the N-word. My son showed me a video today about some guy who was saying my friend is the N-word, and again, he's 10, so he comes over, he says, "Mommy, can I report this?" And I said, absolutely, go report the video. Because for whatever reason, they think that that's what we are. They think that we are in a minstrel show. They really believe that about us. They think that we're puppets. Whereas this is our culture. Like, you know, when LL said I needed a roundaway girl, I told my mom, I was like, I need some bamboo earrings. Like, I need overalls. I need.
That's right. All of that. I need bamboo earrings, at least 2 pairs, a Fendi bag, and a bad attitude. All right.
But it really is. It is just the style. It's just the look. It's what we grew up with. It's like acid wash jeans or overalls, or, you know, the boho braids that everybody's rocking. It's just a time, a place, a moment in time where we are locked and solidified as the hip hop culture.
And you really articulated that well. I think the other day I saw something. I love June Ambrose, right? The stylist. She's Jay's stylist and has been, she's been a stylist since, you know, Jesus was a boy. Okay. And she's good at it, right?
Fantastic at it.
Right. I mean, really. But she said that the appropriation's okay. It's a form of flattery. It is not a form of flattery. It absolutely is not. Mm-hmm. Like, we can't, like, I'm like, what? No.
You can't split hairs on that.
You really can't, and here's why. It'd be one thing if you gave me credit for it.
Yeah.
Right? And you paid me for it. Right? You didn't pay me for it. It took, how long did it take Dapper Dan to get paid for it?
Listen, he's really just even getting his credit.
Right. Like, in the last, like, literally 5 to 10 years.
And the way that they're giving him his flowers is almost like, we need to do this so you don't sue us. Because we need to go ahead and hurry up and acknowledge you before you sue us, because we didn't do right by you. Dapper Dan is really an icon at best.
Icon.
And an icon, a generational icon, because every time I'm out and I see a girl with an MCM bag, I immediately say to her, yo, I like that MCM. Because everybody doesn't understand MCM.
They don't.
Everybody
get it.
Understand. So when I see a female with an MCM, I'm like, yo, I like that MCM. And she'll understand my genre. She'll understand my demo. She'll be like, okay, you know where I'm
That's from. Where you saw it first.
Yes.
Right? Like, he put, it's not that we did not know. Like, I had a Fendi bag. I had a Gucci, you know, which was hilarious. My mother bought me these designer bags. I had to do good in school, whatever. But when you saw it the way Dapper Dan executed it, it looked so different. It was so cool, right? And the world saw that and paid in full, right?
Oh my God, yes.
Which is one of my, it's like my top 10. Like, literally, I can watch that movie every day.
Everybody gotta eat, B. Yo,
everybody gotta eat, B. Everybody gotta eat. All right, that's what we're doing. All right, like,
yo,
it's like my favorite
movies. Listen, hip hop has transcended time. Like, Black people created something that no one can ever take away from us, no matter how much they try from another culture or not. What Now listen to this. They told us, what is that gibbity yap garbage you're listening to? Like, I remember my brother got his first Sugar Hill record, and my grandmother had 18 Ridgeview in New York. She had full basement. Shout out to all my cousins that's watching. But she had the whole record player. My brother would carry this record around, and I remember seeing the rainbow shell. I can see it right now on the cover.
Right.
So we were there for that. And now to see it, it's just amazing to see what happened. We literally changed the fashion world,
Literally.
the music world,
Literally.
the fashion world, the makeup industry with Rihanna, right? We have changed educational system because now they're teaching classes about Tupac
At Harvard. At Harvard.
Right? There's also the culinary arts, because now you have Khalees, who is a farmer,
Yes.
original landowner. I mean,
yes.
We are in every aspect of life. Hip hop music, R&B music, Black music as a whole. And they told us, as Michael Jackson famously said, and they didn't think it would last. Like,
right.
We are here and we're not going anywhere. It's going to be here far after you and I are gone. I mean, there's no cap on the beautiful ending of music as a whole. Hip hop is never going to die. And the amount of money that's being spent on hip hop right now is insane. It is a $7.8 billion industry.
And that's what they're telling you. And that's what they're reporting.
Listen.
So you got to look at the other balance sheets in the back.
Listen.
Okay.
Hello.
It's probably double and triple, quadruple it. That.
Not only that, but it's also, depending upon who you talk to, it's not enough. There are people saying, oh, why do we even have to talk about the hip hop beef? Oh, that's so, it's so degrading towards our industry. Kendrick Lamar is number one right now on the Apple streaming site on the Hot 100 list. Number one. His record, like that, is being streamed, or They Not Like Us. That is all over TikTok. You got celebrities, you got Savannah, you got all LeBron James, you have every hip hop artist, not hip hop artist, but ball player. Correct. Anybody with a TikTok account is using it as an instrumental bed. So correct. When I run into people that say this beef is irrelevant, no, it's not actually. It is a sign of the culture, and we need to adapt to that.
We definitely need to adapt to that. So I'm going to ask you, because I have to ask you, top 5 dead or alive individuals.
Ooh. I was hoping you would ask me this question.
Of course, I have to.
So, oh God, this is really difficult for me. I'm not going to put them in a rank of 1 to 5. I'll just give you my 5 favorites. Okay. It is definitely Biggie, hands down, no question. Mm-hmm. Eric B. and Rakim. I have to throw in MC Light. Oh God, I really want to say I'm gonna go top 10 because I'm just gonna call out one of my favorites. Oh, this is really not there. I want to say Queen Latifah, Salt and Pepper. I really want to. Jay-Z is I'm a huge Jay-Z fan, but I like Imaginary Players. I like Reasonable Doubt. To me, by far, is my favorite hip hop CD. I get Blueprint. I get it. But Reasonable Doubt, and I'm saying that because of the instrumentals on that. I'm saying that because of the vocals on it. I'm saying that because of the trumpets, the saxophones. Like, you just don't get good solid beats and music with that. It's the instrumentals alone I could listen to. Oh gosh, did I say Mobb Deep? Mobb Deep, definitely. Little Kim. Like, when I get in the car, like, I go deep. I go hip hop, like my era. But I've also come to understand that I've aged out of the demo to where Sexy Red is not my top.
No, no,
Megan Thee Stallion, that's not mine. She's not.
no,
She's not in my top. Cardi B's not in my top. Although I
no.
love that for them. I love that for all of them. They are just not. They're not hip. They're not my version of
We've
hip hop.
definitely aged out.
We
We've
aged
definitely
out, but we
Yeah.
also need to show them grace. And that took me a long time to be able to say. I want to be able to tell them it's all right. I don't get it. It's not for me. This is what you grew up with. But artists, I do want to acknowledge a few female hip hop artists that the world is not familiar with on a larger scale, and that is this hip hop artist named Neela. I love her. If you have a chance to find her, find her. There's also Amaretta. Oh my gosh, she's so dope. Oh gosh, she's so dope.
Great.
Ugh.
She's a great
Oh my
lyricist.
god.
Oh my god.
The fact that she's not on a major scale blows my mind. There's also a female hip hop artist named Ciroc. She is affiliated with Soul Messiah. You can easily find her, but her style is so reminiscent to me of Bahamadia. Like, oh gosh, she's just so fly. Like, there's so many hip hop artists that, again, the music industry does not put on. But there's talent out there. They're just not in the focal point of mainstream.
Yeah, I would agree. It's interesting how we literally have the same, like I said, Light, Jay, Biggie. I had Rakim on there as well. But I had Jadakiss as an individual.
Oh, you know what? Facts. Oh my God. I was just
But then I went to
We Gonna Make It. I was listening to We Gonna Make It this afternoon. So I do gotta give props out. But really, we have to give props out to the Locks, period. Like and oh my God, who am I?
They could do a
DMX.
clip.
I can't even not say DMX off the top of my dome. Like
the Locks can literally do a hip hop, all three of them, Jada, P, and Luge could do a whole clinic on what it is to be an MC. Full stop. And Nick, thank you very much. Nick said brand Nubian. Thank you very much.
Oh my God.
Look,
we might as well just, let's just do this. Let's just categorize the entire 1990s.
Correct. That's it. That's it. And everybody had to come with fire.
Let's start with 88. Let's start with 88, right? We can start with, okay.
Come on now. Listen, that's ridiculous. Like, okay, so first of all, Light, I don't care anything she does. I don't care what it is. I'm all over her.
Yo, she got a new song out.
She does called Woman.
Yeah, Greg Street was just in the studio with her, and so I just want to acknowledge that Greg is also a huge fan, and he was just working with MC Light on her latest single. So check that out.
She's super dope, and there's no wrong she can be done. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to see what you think. I am obsessed with Rhapsody right now. I can't take it. Rhapsody is just. I don't know what people want from her. She's amazing. Like, tell me what you think.
Well, you know what? I think she's dope. I think that people can't figure out what category she fits into, so they're not going to automatically gel to it. I think that
and that upsets me.
It does.
She's not taking off her clothes.
Yes. And you know what? It's about time that women stop doing that, because we don't have to do that. Like, the talent speaks for itself. However, there is the giant machine that says, here's the machine. If you want to sell records, I'm going to need you to do a little bit of this. I'm going to need you to do that. And there is that machine.
On the music.
Yeah, there is that machine that will dismantle that. But I think that is what is so different about her, is that she's pretty much staying true to her beliefs, and she don't got to do it.
Right. And look at this is what I'm saying. Everybody's saying it. Like, tired of seeing ass and boobs and twerking.
Yeah.
And oh, Sweet Tea. But see, here's the thing.
Holy cow.
2 records.
Well, we gotta go. No, hold up now. We gotta go Roxanne Shante. We gotta go Sweet Tea. We gotta go to Antoinette. We gotta go back.
Wait,
we gotta go back.
Finesse? Yeah. Finesse and Quince.
Oh my God. Gosh. I'm about to. Don't make me start. Don't
See,
make me
and,
start.
oh, wait, and everybody's menopausal right now. Listen, all these women we're talking about, I promise you this, we can have a menopause summit. I know you are, sisters. We know that they are. These women are in the
Yes.
cone right now.
Yo, I do have to say that Sweet Tea's micro braids way back then are iconic. You will never see a smaller braid than what Sweet Tea had. I mean, we just have to stop and acknowledge that brilliance from way back
We
then.
do. Oh, salt, and we can't. I sent Shannon, like, I saw Salt and Pepper, and somebody posted the whole video of Tramp, and I was like,
okay, first
man,
of all, let me get into my Salt and Pepper era right quick and tell you. In the high school talent show, me, Keisha, and Pam was Salt and Pepper, and I was Spinderella, ironically, the DJ who would break all the records. And then, as it relates to the Tramp video, that was my prom dress. I had a personal designer make the Tramp dress, and my father flipped. He was like, I shouldn't let you go to the prom. I was far ahead of my time, but Salt and Pepper totally owned me my senior year of high school. So, of course, I could not even begin to skip them.
Wait, okay.
It is what it is.
Mel, did you just say JJ Fad?
Okay, you know what? I can appreciate JJ Fad from the West Coast, but they did not resonate with me because I was not of that era. But I do want to give them their flowers.
But it wasn't MTV. That's how I became aware of them, from MTV. And I was like, oh, look.
Well, even
the one thing I did
Ralph McDaniels used to play them.
That's true. He did. You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But I just couldn't get into that was moving away from hip hop in New York is more of a slow, tempo, whereas that I'm JJ Fad and I'm here to stay, like
that's the way
I just can't
started.
Yeah.
Right. And we evolved from that. Yeah. Right. Like, and even now, I'm not gonna keep it much longer, but even now, really? Tasha, like,
I noticed we need to start this live over. Go for it. I mean,
no, I don't need to. No. Even now, the style, the way they rap, the rhythm is very much. It reminds me of 1980, like the 80s.
Yeah,
with the rhythm, it's like remedial, and it doesn't have. It has no, like, they don't have any voice inflection, and they don't move with the rhythm. It's weird to me, right? So that's why it's hard for me to listen to.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody. Oh, it was Shanna. I was talking to Shanna, and I said, I don't know if I like Da Baby or Little Baby. I don't know which one it is, right? And we like fell out laughing, right? I don't know which one it is. I heard him on a song, and I was like, I like this song, but I don't know which one. Is it Da Baby or Little Baby or whatever baby? I don't know.
Well,
right?
Because we're looking at them as grown men, and it's kind of hard to call them the baby or Da Baby.
And why do you want to be called that?
I mean, again, we're going back to the issues that we spoke about before as it relates to parenting, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to guess. But so I don't know what that's about. But just overall, I will say it does not appeal to me. But again, women move on emotions and the feeling of the beat. You know what I mean? Depending upon what song you throw on, anything could go down. It just depends upon what the record is, right? So if you really are tuned into women and what women want to hear, we can take you all the way up here, and then we could just drop you right quick. It just depends upon, if you know your lady or not.
And wait, Mel, thank you for saying that. The psychosis of delayed development. Like, seriously. Like,
yeah.
Right. Yes. Right. See, look at Shem said, he says, wah, 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 bitch, I'm the baby, or whatever he said. Like, it's just weird. It's all very awkward, and it's awkward even how the young women today with people like Sexy Red. And I'm not, listen, whatever these children are doing today, they're doing it, right? And we can't, and I'm not going to sit here as a 52-year-old woman and say,
right.
I'm just going to tap out of it, right? I'm not going to criticize it, but it is quite jarring, when you hear children, because that TikTok is a dangerous place. Look, and people have their children doing skits and things to this music, and I mean children. I don't mean like an 18-year-old or whatever. I'm talking about like a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? for clicks and likes and whatever you call it and money and all the
Yeah,
rest of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so I like, you're somebody with a 10-year-old, right? I mean, and clearly you and your husband do a very good job of making sure your son is getting the best of the
No doubt.
best and access and the
Yeah,
rest of it. But how do you, he goes to school every day. He's
yeah.
10, right? There are things that are going to happen at school, right, that you may or may not know about.
That's right.
So how do you protect him from, or how do you navigate that with him?
That's a really good question, and I speak about it a lot. My son and I have an open line of communication. When he comes home from school, we take his dog out, and I call that our mom son time, and I call it our safe zone.
Oh.
So that is our safe zone. You can tell me anything that I need to know without any consequences and repercussions happening. Anything outside of that is going to be a different story. So if you didn't turn in your assignment, or if you said something inappropriate, or if you were involved in something that I'm not aware of, here's your safe zone. Let's talk about it now so we can get ahead of it before my phone rings and the teacher calls me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I am non-judgmental within that 45-minute walk.
Right.
Thereafter, if you neglected to tell me what I needed to know when I'm making dinner, or by the time you're getting out of the shower and getting ready for bed, and I've spoken to your teacher, we got a problem. So that's one. And then two, I introduced my son to music because he's a gamer. So he loves Fortnite. He loves.
Oh.
He's an extremely brilliant COD player, Call of Duty. He is
Oh,
top
wow.
ranking. He's super great at it. But they play music on there that I'm like, holy cow! Like, so he and I discuss music. He is now just really understanding everything that mommy's done, or that I'm even involved with now. So we have open dialogue about music and music artists and what we see. But I do also censor him from Megan's tour because he does not have an Instagram page. He does not have TikTok. So but I'm also aware that the kids at school do, and they carry their phones. He doesn't take his phone to school.
Okay.
But I'm saying to him, because he's getting older now, you're going to see some things, and I want you to be able to come and talk to me about it, ask me questions without judgment. And he does that. And so far, so good, but he's getting older. I recognize that eventually we will have unpleasant conversations on my end. But that's pretty much where I tap into my husband and my brothers, right? I'm like, yo, I need
Right.
backup. Like, I'm not equipped for this conversation. But he does have a safe zone where he can come talk to me about anything.
I love that. I remember when I was growing up, my mother used to do that and call it blue sky, right? Like,
Oh,
this
I
is,
love that.
we could just talk about anything. So I think it's really powerful to hear you say that, because I was being funny about the menopause thing, but I think these kids are coming into something, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, even the men in our demographic that are in hip hop, they are entering something and they don't understand what's happening to
They
them.
have no clue
They don't know.
what's about to hit them. They don't know that erectile dysfunction is coming. They don't know that prostate cancer is coming. They're not going to the doctor for their colonoscopies. You can sit and blame it on women all day. However, everything that you are feeling and that you are experiencing, all these midlife crises, you want to dye your beard, you want to go and holler at the little honeys that calling you grandpa, you want to be their sugar daddy, whatever. You too, sir, have aged out.
You too, sir. She does not think you're cool. Like she does not think you are cool at all.
But she does,
right?
Like your 401k and your life insurance policy. She does like that.
And she will wait you out.
No doubt.
How about that? We at 52 years old, we would not be that patient.
We ain't got time for that. Like, we
at
good.
all
Yeah.
and I think it's quite troubling, and I think that the parallels are undeniable. Like
No
I'm
doubt.
like
Yeah.
you can't just ignore these things that are happening, right? And I think as much as we can criticize the Diddy's of the world, that and it's going to be one after the other, 50, etc. We have to acknowledge that nobody's talking about the psychological and the medical and the physical components, right? They are having hormone imbalances. I will bet the ranch on that.
Oh yeah.
That the things that are happening, and they've been happening for a while. Kanye, right? He is experiencing something very different, very, very different, but I still believe you can have hormone imbalances very young. So,
Well,
I mean, it can happen to
not only that, but you mix the hormone balance with the chemical imbalance, you just got a whole volcano going on. I too believe that not only that, but they're rich Black men.
rich.
Rich billions, right?
Yeah.
They are at a level that only a handful have even begun to tap into. So they are really teetering on the cusp of, but I'm still hood, but I need my kids to go to private school. So really right there, they're having their own warfare. They're really going through an emotional warfare where they trying to be street, but living in Calabasas, like they trying to figure that out.
Right. You living on Central Park
or
West,
you living
Sam.
you living on Celebrity Island,
Like, what are you doing? You're in Palm Beach. What are you
and
doing?
not
You're on
only that,
yeah.
right, but they're having these imbalances, as I like to say, that ticky ticky, that ticky ticky boom boom, as I like to say. They're really going through that, and you know what? They're to be called to the carpet. They're to be held responsible for the things that they're doing. What's annoying me about Diddy right now is that there's no humility. You need to go and go straight to jail. You have violated not just Cassie, but several women. I no longer have to say allegedly, because we have all seen the tape. But not only that, Misa went out today and was like, yeah, this is bringing up my own emotional trauma. So, I just, it is time for consequences and repercussions to be called down to the carpet, and these emotionally unstable men will need to deal with it. Point blank, period.
Full stop. Like, that is the end of it. We're not like, we understand what the system is. We know what they tried to do to us, but we have to move beyond that. Dude, we watched your video, right? Honestly, and we've watched you in other places too, and nobody said anything. Right?
I just want to say, going back to the men,
right, Mel.
I'm super irritated and annoyed at the men that are doing these interviews now, talking about, well, I helped her get to the hotel and I'm the one who checked on her and I knew what he was doing, but I needed to make sure that she was Stop.
It's too much.
You're a part of the problem, and we need to acknowledge that. Don't tell me that you sat and cried with her. Tell me that you called the authorities. Tell me that you said to him, yo, you dead wrong for putting your hands on her. Tell me that you punched him in the face when he hit her. Don't come at me with this nonsense right now, telling me, yeah, but no, I don't want to hear that.
And I don't want to hear about the stories, right? Like, we know there's the Jaguar, right? There's all this other business talking about all this bit, like just everything. And I'm like, great, right? Okay, you know it. Thank you very much for saying it, right? But if you knew specifically, like, you're sitting here recounting specifics, right?
And dates and times.
And thank you, Mel. Accomplices. That is correct. You're an accomplice, right? Today, Shaka Khan's daughter came out and said, she commented on Diddy's apology post and said that, I'm glad this is happening to you because I remember when you were in my mother's face yelling and screaming at her, etc., etc. And my 19-year-old brother tried to break it up and your security came along and must have roughed him up.
Oh, no, I was not aware of that. That's
it's
terrible.
On the shade room. Yes. And I was like, huh? Like, so
But just think how many things are not accounted for.
this is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
This
what I'm like, wow.
video is just this video is just one slice of the pie. There are several that are coming down. I said to Faraji when I was on his show that the feds don't fish.
They don't.
The feds will wait you out. Um,
And the
so
video was a warning shot.
oh,
The
the
video was a
video
warning shot.
was definitely a warning shot. It was a leak to say you need to shut up
And
because
you need to tell your son to shut up too. Like, tell your son to shut up.
How you gonna do a whole rap record talking about, yo, you got the wrong house, we bought the one next door? What's wrong with you?
And so you don't think so you don't think that they did a title search to look to see what companies, what trusts own X, Y? So you don't think any of that? This is the federal government.
Yeah, but you know what's even sadder? What's even sadder is that this man has 4 daughters. And he has to look them in their eye one day when they are brave enough to say, what did you do to my mother? Or, you know, or why did you do that to Cassie? Or, well, my boyfriend is beating on me now. Who are you to tell me that I should leave him? You see what I'm saying? You're creating all these traumas for 4 girls, which will then trickle down to their children, which will then trickle down to their children and their children. Generational curses. Like, this is really bigger than anything that we can even begin to imagine.
And I think that what needs to end, and again, because you sat in the middle of it, especially at a very critical time, right? Meaning in the middle of, when I say in the middle of it, somebody who's controlling the music coming in and out of the radio station. So you're meeting with these artists, you're meeting with their representation, etc. Right?
Right.
I just, this behavior doesn't start overnight. It just doesn't. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't wake up in the morning and say, this is what I'm going to do. Like, there's pathology to it.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I'm really super troubled is because women are, do women tell the truth all the time? Absolutely not. No. I'm not saying that they do, but we are just not believed. This girl, Cassie, who is a young, so let's just keep it a buck. Just because she's on the line of being legal does not make it right. No, right? Isn't. You're 50, dude, or whatever at the time, sitting here playing games with this woman, okay? With this young woman, right? So it was, for me, it was wrong out the break. And when he talked about her, when you look at videos, he talked about her like, she just helped me. She was there for me. It was, what? She's a child. You're a 40-something-year-old man. You know, I think when we saw him last year at the award show when Young Miami was holding up the sign that said Poppy, and he was like, and to Cassie, I love you. I think that was a warning shot. I think that he knew something was coming down the pipeline, and he was saying to her, yo, absolutely, I know what you're trying to do. Here's a tactic of intimidation. I'm not for certain, but I can have my thoughts. But that's what I believe it was. And you know what? What's so crazy is that when I was in these spaces with these artists, this was not the experience that I had. Of course not. They were on their best behavior. It's like, oh, Tasha, you know, what do you need to make this record happen? Here's my new artist. I never saw the grimy side behind the scenes. Now I'm sure they call me all kind of B's and whatever, MFs, whatever. Because I wouldn't play their way. Because it didn't go their way. Right. I mean, they called me outside of my name a million times, but never to my face. And not only that, but there are just some things that I just wouldn't tolerate. Now, what's fair to say is that I was not seeking a career in the entertainment industry. Cassie was. So we don't know what her mindset was when she was like, I just got to take this. This is normal. You know, other women have done it. We don't know who groomed her to feel like this was okay. And she was a child. Yeah, she was a child. And I had the discussion on my one of my Instagram page where somebody said, one of my friends said, where was her father in all this? And then I had to explain, you know, her father had passed away in 2020, but even still, her father may not have known.
if she's 19, you think she's telling her daddy that her boyfriend is beating up on her? She's not saying that, because then the dad's gonna come and get her and stop her, you know, from being who she dreams of being. Little did we know that she's gonna go down in history in infamy. She will forever be known as the woman who took down Bad Boy. And I said it before, and I'll say it again: we will never get another Bad Boy album. Bad Boy is over as we knew it. I was listening to Biggie today. I was listening to Ready to Die. I was listening to Life After Death. And Puff had the nerve to say on one of the records, "Don't cry at my funeral." And the first thing I thought about is, wow, nobody's going to cry at your funeral.
And interestingly enough, and I'm not going to belabor this, but, you know, Biggie was quite a violent human being. Like,
I
mean, he openly talks about, like, his violence against Kim. Like, it's not like, I mean.
Yes, and Faith for that matter.
Correct. So, I mean, I don't know what was going on over there, Bad Boy, right? But I don't know. And things just seem really weird now. Like, things are getting very, very weird. But I'm going to ask you this last thing, because I really think this is critical.
Yeah.
Right? So listen, I do not listen to R. Kelly music if I can help it. So I'm going to say, if I can help it. Okay?
Yeah.
He is literally one of the greatest musicians, composers ever.
He's literally one of the greatest music composers ever, who is also slimy, gross,
grimy,
pedophile, sick,
yes,
mental, deranged, right. All of that.
But I'm just asking, right? So he is not, like, literally, I deleted every song on my playlist everywhere, right? Here we are with Bad Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Total didn't do it. Craig Mack didn't do it, right? They didn't do it.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. Are we listening? Are we listening to Bad Boy?
Mm.
How can we dismiss it? I'm sorry. How can we dismiss the era? It's an entire
era.
We
can't. No, we can't. We can't dismiss the era. This is what's so crazy.
Okay.
Because I said this again when I was on another show, is that Diddy is to New York what Dr. Dre is to LA. You know, it is what it is. Like, we cannot separate it, because when I hear a Biggie record, I hear Diddy. If I listen to 112, Diddy's on the record. If I hear Total, Diddy's on the record, right?
If you hear Kim, Diddy's on the record. If you hear the Lox, Diddy's on the record.
Right? So it's almost a caveat. It's an asterisk on the playlist, right?
But who are we as a people, Tasha? Because his estate will continue to make money.
Yo, no doubt. You know, it's the same thing. And I hate to say this. I really do. I hate to say this. This is the same thing with Ike and Tina Turner.
Mm-hmm.
You still have Tina Turner records. You still have R. Kelly records. Me personally, I don't listen to R. Kelly music. I have his entire catalog, hand to God, in a box, unopened CDs, the entire catalog. And I literally have it in storage. And I'm like, what do I do with this? Because it's such a great catalog, I don't want to part with it, but it sucks. It's terrible what this man did. He's a freaking pedophile, right? But I know the value of his music and what he's done for the culture. I can't listen to R. Kelly, but I can listen to Aaliyah.
Well,
I can't listen to, you know, the hottest songs of his career, especially the slow songs. I used to fall asleep to one of his instrumentals. Like, he's so freaking talented, but so stupid, so messed up in the head. The thing about Diddy is I can't listen to "I'll Be Missing You" the same way.
Oh no,
and it's so. Especially now that we know that he didn't even want to pay Sting for the record. Like, it's so many different things coming out now that I was not aware of, that just makes me not even want to, I don't even want to deal with it. But I can listen to a Biggie record. I can listen to Total. I can listen to 112. Not really a fan of the band, but I did interview them when they first came out. And I remember that those kids were traumatized. When I met them at the meet and greet for their album, They were traumatized. Tara Thomas and Tara was the morning show producer for the Franksky Morning Show. After all of it, we was like, didn't they sound robotic? They sounded very robotic. They sounded very traumatized. They sounded like they've been through some things. And unfortunately, they were puppets on a string for a puppet master, which is Puff. That's it.
You see, there you go with the bars again.
Look, I need to put out an album, right?
Yeah. Well, I feel like you have a book in your future, Tosha, but I'm gonna.
I teeter back and forth with it because it's so. I don't know.
You got to do it.
I don't know where to go with it. I'll figure it out.
Well, we know some people that can help you get through that. So, anywho,
people.
Get some people that can help you through that.
And then until then, I could just come back with you when you do a part 2.
Let me tell you something, Tosha. First of all, because there's a lot of things I didn't ask because I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I do like the fact that you were very open. So now I know next time.
Anything you want to ask me, I'm for it. I'm for it. Yeah.
Well, and again, you know what I realized? You can always say, I don't want to answer that.
Facts.
Like,
I will.
Right. And we're grown up, right? You can say, Stacey, we're not doing that today. So let's move on. Right.
But 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to say that. Like, just ask,
I really appreciate you. So for those that are left, okay, we're talking to Tosha Love. You know how dope Tosha is. I want everybody, if you're not following her today, please go follow her. Right. We're going to support whatever she's doing. Tasha, you need to make sure that we know what you're doing.
Facts.
Right.
Yeah.
Because part of that is knowing. Right.
This is true.
And I'm just going to put it out there. If I got to hear about something secondhand from mutual friends, wink, wink, all I'm saying is I don't know about it unless I know about it.
You know what? I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I'm literally popping up when
you are popping up.
Me.
This is what I'm saying.
I know.
I want to support it.
I know, and I sincerely appreciate you. I think you're so dope. I love what you're doing. I appreciate that. I was so elated when you asked me to come on. I'm like, me? What can I talk about? And you were like, well, you're in the age bracket, but I'm not there yet. So I'm not having the experiences that most women our age are having, but I'm more prepared now due to shiftHER because I've been watching and I saw your post about the tea. Like, I'm preparing mentally for when that change happens.
Not, you know what, Tosh? You may not.
Pray, you know what? I'm going to keep my fingers crossed.
For people. Yeah, I don't want you to.
I don't want you to.
I don't want you to. I don't wish it on anybody. I don't wish the weight gain, the hot flashes, the night sweats, the itchy skin, the headaches, the memory loss. It just gets to be a lot. Like, it gets to be a lot. I mean, I'm on HRT, so guess what? A lot of that for me is like, but my brain does freeze, which is it's a very interesting thing to experience when you just freeze.
After having our son, I literally my eyesight went bad. Like, I needed glasses. I was all of a sudden my body changed. The weight gain doesn't come off like it used to. But in all fairness, I'm not the cheerleader that I was in high school. I'm not. I walk a lot, but I've also made the decision. I'm kind of teetering on plant-based lifestyle right now. I'm kind of playing with that. But we'll see after Memorial Day. Let's see.
You'll get all your meat in.
And then, I like my libations. So, but I am paying attention to HRT. I can appreciate everything that you talk about. I'm watching your videos with the wellness coaches. I'm there. I'm invested in my health. I appreciate
that. And I think that awareness for everybody, awareness is key, right? What I've chosen for myself is not for everybody, right? There's so many non-pharmacological options out there that could help minimize the symptoms. But of course, like I stopped drinking 2 years ago. So that's helped exponentially.
I'm not there.
Well, you know what? I was feeling so poorly that I felt like I didn't have a chance.
I'm waiting to get off camera, but
one of my very dear friends says to me, "Good luck with that." Like, she literally is like, "Fuck that!" Like, no.
Yo, I'm not opposed to the herbal, medicinal options that are out there. I think I could certainly choose to go that route. I'm not really sure. We'll see when we get to that path. But at least I have a close friend that I could call, such as yourself, and be like, help.
And I'm always here, and I appreciate you. So everybody, y'all are following Tasha. We're going to have Tasha back because I feel like hip hop, we have to talk about it once a month.
Um,
Like I feel, and I
yeah.
feel good about
And
it,
we can also
right?
talk
Maybe we
about
can.
R&B. I mean, there's so many ladies of R&B that we could get into too that I don't want to ignore. But just overall, just music as a whole, I mean, I'm literally all over the place. I could listen to Sting one moment.
Me too.
Sade is my favorite artist of all time. I will cut someone over Sade Adu. I am a huge hip hop fan, but I also love my rock. I love the Afro beats that's coming out right now.
Oh wow,
I'm
it's huge.
extremely obsessed with all things Afro beats right now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, I only got into it because oh God, I love Idris Elba, and
Yes.
he's associated with a lot of these artists from Sierra Leone. So that's how I started getting into it. And then, of course, on TikTok, it's
Yeah,
everywhere.
it is, but you know what? We grew up in the 90s and I can't take away that we grew up in Westchester. So I got to give shouts out to Bon Jovi. Like
Oh yes.
I'm a huge, you know, I'm a cowboy and a stale horse I ride. Like, I mean, that's my high school, my you know, friends with the high hair will understand. But I also am a huge Portishead fan. I'm a huge, just even now more so, I'm getting into country, and not because of Beyonce, but because of these fine men that are singing on Instagram that are singing country like
Have
a.
you ever? Have you ever?
I mean, but that goes back to what women like, right? So again, if you have the visual and if you have the lyrics and if you're telling me, yo, come home, let me cook dinner for you, let me, you know, run your bath water. Okay,
Okay.
I'll be right there.
Say less. Say less. I'm on the way. Ride him, cowboy. Right? It's like, let's ride it out. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I can appreciate that. And I think that this is the conversation that we need to have, right?
Yeah.
Because again, this is our music. Let's keep it
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
All of
Hello.
it.
All the
Every
way back
ounce
to
of
Elvis. And
it
I
all.
also want to acknowledge, I know that we were really just sticking to hip hop, but Billie Holiday is one of my favorite artists.
Oh goodness.
And I've got into her like late 80s. And so I know that right now we're talking about hip hop, but when we're talking about my favorite artists of all time, you know, it is Billie Holiday, it is Sade, hands down. I mean, I literally Sade came to Atlanta and I sat, I think, second row, and you can hear me screaming on the live recording. It's insane. I'm
Tasha,
obsessed with
wait,
it.
what year was that? Because let me tell you something. I saw Sade at the Fox Theater. I sat in the first row of the balcony, and I watched her walk across the stage in her bare feet. It was the most
Magical.
mesmerizing thing I had
It's
ever seen.
magical.
She just, I mean, grace and like
God.
her voice just sounded so good. It was magical.
She actually performed at the back when it was the Dome. So
Okay.
we're
Oh wow.
talking 2000s. But
Oh.
it was sold out completely. But I can hear myself screaming on the recording. You know, I love her so much because she invokes a spirit of freedom to me that I don't find in other artists. She moves me lyrically in a way that speaks to a different part of my soul. A lot. When people who know me know how deep I go about music. It's methodical. I have always been this way with music, but music can make me get up. It can make me lay down. It can make me do this. It could make me do this. It can make me go there. It can make me eat this. Like I'm a sensual person, highly in tune to a specific song. It's crazy.
It's
Like
music. But that's
it
what
is
music does.
destiny. It is destiny that I ended up in music.
I love that. And we'll end on that. Tasha, I love you, honey. And
Love you.
again, give me some dates for the month of June so we can get into this because I will figure out something else to talk about. I love y'all for joining.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm not wearing my glasses. I can't see who's on, but
Oh, everybody's on. All of our people are
I
on,
trust
Tasha.
you. I trust
All of
you
our
and thank
people
you
are
for
here.
joining us. Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
everybody joining. Tasha, I will we'll be in touch and let's have you on next month. Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm here. Thank you for the invite.
Yay.
I love
Thanks, Tosh.
you. Thank
Love
you
you
for
too, honey. Have
having
a good
me.
one. Bye.